Oh, good morning, Tartaria, Australia. Friday, the 16th of January, 2026, Cam. Already at the end of the month.
Already, like
Okay.
halfway through January. How did that happen?
hmm hmm
It was just the fake New Year's Eve, like only yesterday. But yeah, it's an interesting year, man. It's all happening, right? Off with a bang.
It's off with a speedy bang. Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
man. Trump's taken over the world. He's got Venezuela, now he's after Greenland.
I haven't, I've been in newspaper layout week. So what's happening? Anything interesting out there?
No, well, it's just a lot of crap, I think, in the 2D world. The greatest show on earth, but they're saying that Trump wants Greenland, probably because he wants Hyperborea. I don't know. It's all this stuff about, saving the world, but obviously there's a big understory under there. Like silver's it jumped up to I think 100 over $120. Um, so yeah, lots going on with currencies, currency resets. I heard that Keir Starmer has abandoned the digital ID because of too much pushback. Haven't guaranteed that, but I think it's just all going crazy. But it's all in the 2D world, really, most of it.
Yep.
All of this stuff, it's just all fear and it's just to get us focused on them and rather than building the new reality that we want. That's the scam.
What's the weirdest thing you've seen this week?
Well, I did see some of those videos you were talking about the dragons,
I can't
like
say it, Livethian, Live
Leviathan.
Leviathan, that's it.
And people are relating that to the Bible and end of days, but it's just all more end of days crap. And if how can creatures ever be that big in this realm? Especially if we got a dome, they're going to be hitting their head. If there's no dome, then what does that mean? Like, there can't be waters above then, right? If there's like it's so the whole what's that mud fossil university, I think. I just can't see how creatures could be that big in this realm. Like he's shown a dragon that's half the size of Africa. Like if that thing was real,
Yeah.
one step it would just destroy everything.
Yeah. I mean, it would have that sort of concept would have to be like pre-firmament, you know,
Yeah, but then
because
it, can we have a pre-firmament if there's waters above?
well, we could have had a much bigger one.
We could have had a yes. I've been thinking about this because that could be one. Like it could be like Atlantis, right? Concentric rings, all with a bigger and bigger dome as you get out.
And also, turtles, I learned when I was living in Japan and rescued a turtle, they will grow to the size of the container that they're in.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
if they're in a bucket, they'll stay that size. If they're in a bathtub, they're going to
They
grow.
get bigger. Yeah, same with koi fish and a lot of fish. Yeah, they grow exactly. So yeah, well, that's why we're in a enclosed pressurized system, right? What do they call them? Terrarium.
Yeah, you
But
can imagine how magical that would look. A terrarium with a few, like two or three dragons just floating around inside it. You could never leave. I mean, a pretty magical sight.
there's been a lot of talk about dragons coming up too. I've just noticed. So a lot of this talk about, I guess, giant titanic beasts. But yeah, I've been thinking like, is there water above? Is it water? Because we've seen the star in a jar, right, that they make in water, looks like a star. And if it's water, then are there aliens or, extra whatever you want to call them out there, but they're just in submarines, that they're not in an infinite vacuum.
In a UFO
So
flying through
like is the
space.
realm like all of these, because we've talked about domes under the ocean, right? Are we literally in a fractal above that with lots of domes around us all under the ocean? And is the way to travel, is space travel, is that through the ocean? Because there's a clip.
Yeah, we've talked about that
Yeah,
heaps.
yeah. So there's that clip of the guy who's saying space is the ocean and the
Hmm.
moon is a continent. So I'm just thinking if that's true and aliens come from the ocean and we're in a pressurized system, then that would keep like the water at the same level, right? like
Mm-hmm.
when they put on those old
Mm-hmm.
style diving helmets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So literally, aliens could be zooming around in the bigger ocean, and they could come up from underneath
Mm-hmm.
into our realm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Makes sense. And I don't think we only know how many versions of water. Water is a substance that we know is can hold the image of water can change. It's a substance of pure potential on this realm. Well,
mm,
we know steam, we know frozen water, we know evaporated water, we know water that we drink, we know ocean water, though I don't think that's part
yeah,
of it. That's something separate. And then,
prime
with
water.
and actually, when we were studying the vril, they have another version of water as well. There's different, I mean,
Yeah,
water
yeah.
is the substance of all
There's
things.
one.
So
I
there's,
forgot what it's called. It's an or the I think it's H3O2 or something. So there's even different, well, I don't know if I believe in molecules, but but yeah, a lot of people have said that the air is
yeah,
water too, right? The whole
we're in
atmosphere.
water. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's just a different density. And then
exactly.
that clip of them underwater, like finding the lake they can't get through, right? Different
Yeah,
densities again
yes.
as it goes down.
Yeah. So from our observations, we would then assume that life across all versions of life exist in water. That water is what we would term reality.
Yeah, or the creator, we've talked about this before too on podcasts, is God, water, right? All
Yeah.
life that we
Or a
know about
fish
needs it. It
like
carries
water.
information. It like it's that's yeah, like Bruce Lee, be like water, my friend.
Mm,
Um, because yeah, it seems to be everything, right? It changes,
yep.
and then you could even go as far as the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Is that liquid, gas, and ice?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? Definitely. I mean, I think now that we've sort of put our attention on the waters and the ocean, like we could cross-reference that topic across basically everything we understand.
Mm.
I mean, it's everything. It's actually everything.
It, yeah,
And
yeah,
AI needs it. Without water, there's no AI. So like the simulation relies on water as much as the natural real world, right? They all rely on water. Even
yeah,
if you take away the real world and make it an algorithm, it still relies on water, ironically.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Totally,
You
totally.
can't even create the void of the AI without water. So
Yeah,
there you
so
go.
you can't create life without water or
Or
simulate
non-life.
life. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Or fake life. They still
Fake
need water,
life.
all of them. Yeah, our little simulation podcast, Campbell. Contentious out there in the world. It's
Is
very contentious.
very
Everyone's very touchy about
contentious.
this subject. We've never had such. I got emails, man. We got emails. That's like we never get emails on these topics. Like, yeah, man.
Emails. Were they
It's
happy
very
emails, Kel?
Oh, they were pretty mixed, actually. I have to say, we've got, I don't know what it is. The simulation topic is a touchy point within
Well,
the truth
I would like to say
community.
that that video is the most unliked video in the 6 years of my channel.
Whoa,
It's
really? I didn't know
seriously,
that.
it's down, it's at like 95% like or something. And I rarely get below 99% something. So it's like quite a bit lower. A lot of unhappy
Ooh,
people there.
touchy.
We did name a few different people, but seems to
So
be
what?
Archaics fans that really, really didn't like it. But what I'd like to, I need to say something about this.
Go on, you speak
I'm
your
gonna
nice little mind
speak.
out.
Um, basically, so first of all, I know Jason's audience. They are all what they would call truth seekers, right? These are the people that would say they are against censorship, that they are against government overreach, that people should leave us alone to think our own thoughts and do our own things. Yet, that is not how they were acting. At least the people who commented. You can't say that you're for free speech and then lose your shit when someone says something you don't like. That is called hypocrisy and being a hypocrite. So go and have a good hard look at yourself, people. Seriously. Like, and this is one of the major problems, that the truther, community seems to be going in. They've all polarized themselves and think they know the truth, right? And you question that, and they start acting like the normies, right? And then they'll say all the bloody normies are all think the same. But you've put yourself in an echo chamber, and you're now turning yourself into one of these people who thinks in loops, right? And if any concept or person cannot be questioned, we have a big problem. Okay. And again, that is the government. That is the power structure. That is the elites. That is exactly what they do. That's one of their biggest tools. So you can't be both people. But thanks for your comments.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a touchy subject. I mean, we've got nothing against any individual human person in this
No.
space. Like, fuck, Cam and I are happy as and loving up pretty much. If you want to talk to us, we love it.
Mm.
And we can hold very big, debates and chew on very big topics and not walk away personalizing it, not working away crying about it or being upset. Like, that's not where we're at. On the topic of archaics, everyone, Jason, you're probably going to hear this when it gets back to you. It's gonna, like, we've got nothing against Jace. Like, I
No.
haven't even met him. We've done one interview. Campbell's hung out. We've got nothing
I've met him
against
and,
the man.
yeah, I've said, I've never said anything bad about Jason. I've always said he was great. He was very generous, looked after me very well. Like he was a good guy. And like you said, we've had him on our show, more than once. I've had him on my channel and, basically we were one of the only channels that was standing up for him or at least not going against him when he first came out and all the stuff was happening, right? All the videos being made about him that so we don't have anything against Jake. We actually don't have anything against anyone's or their thoughts or beliefs because we believe in free speech. It's all interesting to us and we're trying to get somewhere. We definitely don't believe we've got all the answers. And so we're like, well, we know it. Let's just stop questioning now. And then, by the way, go out and stop everyone else questioning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can observe watching how different communities act as a result of the channels that they're aligning with. You can observe how people behave. I mean, I love our community because it's so embodied, it's so human to human, it's so full of love. Like, this community is like beautiful like that. And we know because we meet you all like actually in person. And
Mm.
I love that. And I have observed, Jason, that you have ignited a community that is divisive against other channels. I've observed this. I've seen a lot of archaic people, errants, go on to other channels and fuck them up, man, in the comments. I've seen
Mm.
that. And that's something that you are guiding. And that's just what my observation, you know, like, if that's how the vibe and the flow and the energetics through that community operate, then, so be it. It's just like everyone's allowed to have their little pocket of reality and experience it in whatever way they want. I would never, ever, 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 ever encourage anyone watching our channel to go and fucking abuse another channel ever. Never do that. Campbell and I will, openly discuss and debate and chew on all people's observation and fact, but we would never ignite or incite such things. So I observe that and I don't love it. So, I kind of stay away from it. I'm not into
Mm.
that vibe. But who cares? Like, everyone gets to do their thing. Everyone has rights to be and experience and align in any direction they want. But woo, it's contentious, the simulation topic. My God. And not just that, obviously I was, talking, I mean, I was being very general on the show last week. I was, I was doing my whole, any big researcher who's ever published and hasn't gone to this topic, you're deceiving and it must be deliberate by now. I still think that's a fair statement to make. And I got a few emails about me being racist, and not in the way that one would think, but in the way of, basically saying that the white tribe of the world right now is being persecuted with this immigration agenda, which is happening. That's fact. At the same time, that doesn't like say that the white race of this world is not also the persecutors. So I just want to make that clear because
Mm.
obviously throughout
Well,
history, it's essentially mainly been, but that wasn't the
where
point of the show, of what we were discussing.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, just on that, I mean, yeah, we're allowed to be as proud as our culture as the next culture, right? And we're allowed to stand up for ourselves. But if you talk to a small hat person, they don't think themselves as the same as us. They don't think they're part of the white race, right? They might have the same skin tone, but they definitely see themselves as different. And so do I, by the way. That's the people, that's the light-skinned people that are out there. We all know this, right? And it's so provable. They're running everything. They're the top of all the corporations, the military, the finance, the education, the religions, all of that. But they're not us, right? So I think that type of thinking is just more divisionary between we the people, when what we need to understand is it's we the people against those people, those, well, not people, those beings, those,
Yeah.
beady
Those
eyes, crook
psychopaths.
nose, the psychos, right?
Fucking psychos.
And it is all, planned. It's all part of their plan. What's happening now in Europe, well, and all the Western countries, definitely, but that still doesn't make it a good thing, right? We need to be fixing these countries that these people are coming from because we know they've been destroyed by war and everything for like the
Mm,
last 50 or 100 years. There's a
mm.
reason these people are like that,
Yeah,
but
everyone's fucked
but
up.
the solution is not to then go and destroy everything that's actually working. It's
Yeah.
to go back and fix the crap, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
we don't refer to race and gender and skin tone. Campbell and I are focused on, what's inside that body, the soul that's driving it and where your service is. Is it to self or others? Like basically, that's how I
Mm,
would define humanness at this level of the game. Which one are you in service to?
mm.
That makes a remarkable difference. Defines it very well outside of all of those limited, situations that do generalize and, aren't really speaking truth across the board because like there's always exceptions to every rule in every direction all the time. One in two is probably an exception. So we're talking about soul, man. Soul. What's the soul doing? Where's the soul going? What's the soul's intention? And
Yeah, and
mm,
essentially we are all souls, so we're not even this is just the avatar, the meat suit, the whatever you want to call it. It's not
yeah,
so
man.
focusing on that, and it's also being drawn into this whole illusion of just seeing things as physical as the outside world, right? That's what it draws it into, right? They're not a soul, they're not energy, they're that color person from that country and that tradition and rah rah rah. That's just all the bloody it's the facade, man.
Facade. I mean, so we got a lot of, I mean, I get quite delighted when we get a bit of a debate going. I mean, the simulation topic, we got a lot of comments about what a retarded argument we made and how weak the arguments were.
I
But
know.
like at the end of the day, Cam, like it's not even really an argument to me. I can only use my own eyes to observe. And when you enter the system or the simulation or any type of programming, the first thing they start to do is take away your own eyes. They start to take away the power of your own observer, and they take your observer away and put it everywhere outside of you. That's like a
Mm.
big thing. Simulation theory could only exist in that mindset, that there's like an observable reality far past your ability to observe it, and potentially far past even your comprehension of it. And this is simulation theory. I mean, it's an interesting topic, but for me, it's not that complicated. You know, I know how I feel when I'm in their system versus how I feel when I'm in the natural system. I know how I experience things differently. I know my feelings. I know what my eyes can see. I know my sensors. I mean, I know where my power comes from. I mean, that is not in any way questioned. And I have to say, like, I have not met one person who has debated me on simulation topic that can attest that their power comes from a simulation. You can't, I mean, the argument, and like, why stick with an argument that makes you feel hopeless, useless, pointless, and totally disempowered,
Yeah,
lost in this like void of never being able to, really have any meaning or reason for your existence?
yeah, totally. And I've never been a simulation theorist. I've looked into it and I've heard a lot about it, but I've never believed it because, I mean, one, I believe everything is energy, and so it's not a simulation, but it's what we see is not, actually what we think it is, right? Everything's energy, but that's not a simulation. I don't think it's a copy of anything except maybe what we're thinking, right? Our thoughts, because we're projecting it. But as far as, the simulation, it leads to prison planet. We're slaves. I'm never coming back here again. I just want to get out. Where's the way out? How do we escape? Right? You escape by going into nature. That's how you escape. The simulation is this encroachment of the electronic grid, right? The closed grid, all of this shit, the internet, AI, bots, blah, 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 blah,
Hmm.
blah.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
2D world, the screens,
Yep.
advertising, we could go on and on and
Yep.
on. This is, to me, the simulation that's being laid over the top, right? I call it the overlay, but it doesn't lead anywhere good. There's no happiness at the end of the road in simulation theory.
There's no life.
There's no life. Like it's literally, we've been put in here. We don't know why. We didn't get told. It's really shit, but that's okay because it's not real. It's a problem. And then the whole NPC thing that comes along with it is, I agree that a lot of the public are not on my level and don't understand what I'm saying. But to then say that they don't exist or they exist less than us, I think that's not good, right? Because then it's exactly the same as any kind of, racism or anti-cultural, any kind of
Even
division.
worse.
It's the same thing.
But
So
worse, right? Because you're
it's the
like
worst.
annihilating them as a soul.
Mm. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. And that can easily lead to, well, they don't matter. And that can lead to bad actions, right? Which we see every day. So, let me know in the comments what good comes out of simulation theory. And then
Nothing.
I will just say that I know that most of it's based on books, right? And research and cyclical things. Well, especially myself, I do a lot of study into history, which I call his story because it's just a story and it's been rewritten. We know the Bible has completely been changed, altered, translated, edited, and rewritten. And that's
Yeah.
I think it is the best-selling book of all time. So why would we believe that all of these other books that are old, and there's not that many of them, right, that have made it through from the 17, 16, 1800s, why would we believe that they're completely unedited? Why would we believe that?
Mhm.
So if all the information is coming from these books, that's just a massive edge to me. It's not conclusive proof. It just means that whoever compiled these books was putting a message in there. And what's the message? Ultimately, you're fake. There's nothing to live for, right? The easiest way, because I believe we've been invaded, the easiest way to take over whatever, right? A town, a country, a realm, is to make your enemy give up. Make them give
Yeah.
up. There's nothing worth living for. You want to
Yeah,
get out of here.
absolutely.
Where's
Yep.
the exit? Run
Yes.
away.
Yes. Hmm. And give up their power source, give up the charge that runs through them, give up their reverence for that power source and their care of that power source, disconnect them from it, take them as far away from it as possible, disconnect the food chain from it so they're not reliant on it, like disconnect their shelter from it so they're like renting this plastic poisonous shit. They're everywhere across the realm. If we just look at what's obvious, they've literally disconnected humanity from their power charge
Hmm.
in every sense of the word. So why? Why have they done that? If it was just a simulation, what's the fucking point? Why? Why would you bother? Like, because it would have no meaning either way, end of the day, whether you were
Hmm.
there or there. It would have no meaning. But they have done it so obviously and so deliberately throughout the last, well, what we've looked at through history. It
Hmm.
seems to be a big thing, like so they're
Yep.
they're certainly trying to take humanity out of the true reality.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, they're disempowering us. That it's literally an attack on nature. Look at it all. Like the overhunting, the overfishing, the deforestation, the mining, the polluting of all the water systems, now trying to control the weather systems, all of it. It's all an attack on nature, right? And, the biggest thing
And
is
then
keeping us
us.
separated. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And through that they attack us.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
which shows us how powerful we are, right? They've need to disempower us this much to even get us into a controllable state, and even that's not working. So,
I mean, then you're even looking at sort of like these ideas of the up and coming end of world, the up and coming end of days, like the up and coming apocalypses, the up and coming resets. Like in that itself is also disempowering, disconnecting, disengaging from now in reality. And most of the
Mm.
people who really champion this idea, what would they be doing with their life if they hadn't made a career championing this idea? What would they do with their lives if they really, what they speak about, they knew was coming for them in the next 20, 30, 40 years, whatever, or 2 years? What would their life look like? They're going to just sit there in a hole and wait for it to happen if they hadn't made a career talking about it.
Mm.
And this is across the board. I'm not talking about anyone specifically right now because everyone I've looked at, and this is not just the truth community, this is mainstream stuff as well. They all now have a career championing simulation theory. It's like become their thing, and if they didn't have that thing but still had that belief, what would they be doing with their lives? And so it's just like I don't know. I think we
Yeah.
can only lead by example here, Cam, because, I know that over the next 50 years, we have a plan. We have a plan. And in those 50 years, I guarantee we can observe the outcome of a community that has given up on all that nonsense, has grounded themselves in the here and now, and actually like returned in reverence to the way, humans should be living on this realm outside of that system and what their lives, their energy is going to look like 50 years from now versus someone who stayed there waiting for the end of days in a simulated system.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And if you knew, yeah, exactly. Like these people, they're just still working within the system, like all the ones that we hear about, right? If they know that there is a destruction coming, simulated or not, then why aren't they, building doomsday bunkers and all this kind of stuff or doing,
Well, there's no
if
point,
they
is
know it's
there?
all a simulation, why aren't they flying around like Superman? If they know, why haven't they beaten the simulation? Where's all of this proof that, you can alter the simulation up as far as is, if it's electric, like a video game type thing. Like we just hear talk and talk and the whole Christian narrative, this end of days, the world is ending, the ascension and all this, it's kind of the same story, right? It's kind of like the better world is after here, it's heaven, right? Like so this world doesn't matter that much. All you've got to do is
Yeah, so
praise the Lord.
give up on
Yeah.
it and just survive. Just
Yeah,
get
so
through
yeah.
it and survive. Like that is such
So
a fucking a
service to self.
non-creative attitude.
Isn't it? It's just like, oh,
Hmm.
well, it's fucked. I can't do anything about it. God planned it this way. So I'm not going to go out and try and help people or fix nature or anything. I'm just going to pray and go to church and give the Lord money, and that'll buy my ticket to heaven. There's no service to other people in that. Yet
No.
religions, that's what they tell us all. Oh, it's all about service to others. But you don't see that much in practice, do you?
I don't know, man. Like, there just seems to be like, ever since we've been alive this lifetime, the agenda has been through all the cultures, all the religions, all the institutes, all of it has been to basically tell you that this lifetime is pointless because inevitably in this lifetime, there's going to be an end of days. There's going to be an end of the world, an end of reality. There is really a big agenda this lifetime to basically make sure every single one of us knows that there's an end of days coming, an apocalypse coming, a reset coming, the end of the world coming. There's like the AI's coming. Basically, reality is ending.
Yeah,
There's been a massive, massive push
totally.
on every level to get us there. Well, hello. Like if you just go with that concept, then fuck it. Don't do that because you've just lost. You've just
Yeah, I mean, it's
lost
been
the
going
earth.
since at least World War Two, no doubt before, but had the atom bombs in World War Two, and that went into nuclear and the whole
Yep.
Cold War, and they went into like the Cuban Missile Crisis, which then went into all these bloody
Yep.
nuclear Holocaust movies that they made us watch in school, like the day after,
Yes, yes,
all
yes.
death, and then
That's
like
right.
global warming, then climate change. It's all the same script, guys. And that's the cycle, right? You
Yep.
can see it right there that, a lot of people research cycles. Look, the same thing's happening again. We can see it in our lifetime. Yes, because they've got one script and one script only. They just keep recycling it, but changing the names to protect the guilty. It's always the same story. basically
Always the
death and
same
destruction, and there's nothing you
story.
can do about it. So give up as we invade you.
Yes, I mean, like, whatever, right or wrong, that is not a way to fucking live, basically.
And that as well. Yes,
Right or
totally.
exactly right or wrong. There's no creation in that. The only creation you have is to make a career out of talking about it. That's it. There's no creation in that. It doesn't go any further than that. What's the point of putting down roots, having children? What's the point of like creating community? What's the point of any of that? There's no point. So that's not a place to live. That's certainly not a place we're going to create from. And that's not a place that we're going to spend the next 50 years in, come what may, at all.
Mm, yeah, totally. And yeah, like you said, that's the biggest point. Like we're here, and if you're truthful to yourself,
Mm.
realistically, we don't know much at all. We don't know where we are. We don't know when we are. We don't know what to
No,
eat.
we
We
know
don't know
nothing.
what's
So we
going
know
on.
nothing.
We don't know what's after death. We don't know
No.
what was before. Like we know nothing. So
Hmm.
but we have choice of how to actually live while we're here.
Yeah,
So why wouldn't
absolutely.
you live from a point of creation, of trying to make
Yes.
something better, of making
Yes.
your life more enjoyable,
Yes.
rather than focusing on death and destruction and it's all
Yes.
useless and I just want to get out of here and never come back.
We've wasted so much time even spending any time thinking about it. Really, at the end of the day, they're hours that your life is lost. So at this point, right or wrong, being that we really don't know anything, as Cam said, I agree with that. This is now just a choice point. It's a node point in your soul's development, basically, and which part's going to develop your soul more? That's probably just the cleanest question.
Hmm.
And to me, it's a very obvious answer. It's not a hard struggle answer. Once I started asking that. But I tell you what, Cam, I did when I was reading the comments and thinking a bit more about it, and I haven't thought that much this week because, I've been in newspaper land. Um, which is really looking good, everyone. Hilarious articles this month. I just love opening up. I never know what the contributions are going to be. I just love that about this creation. Every month, it's just completely unknown, completely dependent on you guys. And like, it's hilarious. This sort of diversity of content. I love it. May it always reign, may it always reign supreme, diversity of content. Um, Anyway, I started to like look at I was looking at simulation theory and actually this week I've been looking at numerology and I've been like quite interested in I've never really have I frozen?
No,
No,
no.
I've never really spent much time on it actually this lifetime, but I did start to look at numerology and I wanted to see the accuracy of it. So I started to play with my life path and my soul path and my numbers and my name and my Chinese zodiac. I'm a fire snake, by the way, just so you know. I should find out what you are. And then how that felt if I was to reading that compared to who I am as a person. And I was like, there is something to numerology and numbers are an interesting question. So, when I was looking at like even the word manifestation, and actually I was having this whole chew with myself, and then I went back to the submissions from last edition that didn't make it because I ran out of space. And there's actually a story someone's written on this topic, so that was good timing. But basically, to reiterate the concept, does manifestation actually exist, or is it part of a programming agenda? Because it does appear that it's used more of a tool to see if you're good or bad at it, really. Like if some people will manifest some things and then they won't manifest other things. It's like almost like luck. Like it's not a consistent thing, but it's like a massive product out there on the market, right? It's a huge fucking product.
Yes.
And I was thinking, Cam, if manifestation as a concept, as we've sold as the product, is crap, like if the numbers are not. And then I was looking at numerology and I went back through the history of where it came from as a concept because it's unnerving in the fact that it can be so accurate. It's unnerving in the fact that it's like it can really speak very distinctly of someone's character and personality and be quite, spot on. And you
Mm.
think how much of this sort of concept has gone back in history? Like, if you go back into Gnostic cultures, go back through past Abrahamic religions, and what are we looking at? We're looking at like the I Ching, we're looking at like numerology, we're
Yep.
looking at like rune stones, we're looking at this sort of techniques have always existed, right?
Yes.
And so according to the world's best numerologists, if you knew your numerology, you would conduct your entire life according to it because the numbers cease to become um predictions, I mean, like manifestation seeks to become like a practice of positive thinking and feeling yourself towards it. It actually becomes, is this the right season for you to do this?
Mm,
If you are doing it in accordance with the season that's appropriate for you, then you're going to have good luck here. But if you do it out of season, it's going to be much more difficult. And if you do it on a number that's like, your enemy number or in your enemy year, you're going to have a tough year. But if you do it in your complementary year, so that sort of way of thinking has developed through, yeah, you know what I'm saying, right? So what I'm
totally.
saying, Campbell,
Mm.
numbers may not be maths. Numbers may be substance.
Yeah. Well, yes, numbers aren't maths as in what we're taught, like what they teach us
As if it's
as
been
maths.
hijacked.
Yeah. They teach us basically enough that we can buy things and pay tax, right? That's that they teach us linear maths, right? Just like they teach us linear time, right? But it's all spirals and circles. But yeah, I think, I mean, and you can sort of tie, I guess, astrology in there with the stars, right? So where
Yeah,
you're born, because that's obviously linked up to your date of birth too.
yeah,
It's the position of the stars, right? Which means it's going to give a different energy, a different frequency and vibration, depending exactly on the time and the place
yeah,
that you're born,
yeah.
which is, there's a lot of things come off that. But numbers, and a lot of people are out there going, they're talking about the simulation. No, I don't believe it's a simulation. I believe that it's all energy, and energy expresses itself. We
That's the
know.
hijack, I
That's
think.
yeah. It's just the underlying laws, if you want to call it, the foundation, the way that this reality works, right? Frequency is expressed as geometry, right? We see this all the time in cymatics. It's expressed as color, it's expressed as sound, and it's expressed as numbers as well, right? Which is just the way that it's that we're interpreting it. So I don't think this has anything to do with like a matrix program in the background or anything like that. This is just us interpreting the energy and doing it properly. And, we've
Yeah,
heard forever that the Allites, right, they've always got numerologists and astrologists and they use that for all their decisions. We know they do things on certain dates, right? And they're always flashing up numbers. So they clearly know a lot more than they teach us about these topics. And this is what they're doing. So it's interesting. I don't know a lot about how it all works, but I would like to.
no,
But we need an
yeah.
official
Well, yeah, we're not going to
TA
talk.
numerologist, someone we can.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking eloquently about this. Neither of us have really looked at this very, very deeply. All I know is that when I started to ask the question, is manifestation actually a misleading concept? And
Mm,
is actually like the fact that our own eyes tell us we're in some sort of natural flow of energy, which we could talk about as like a natural clock almost. So not a clock in the sense that we know it because numbers have been hijacked. Like think of all the ways numbers have been hijacked in our reality. Now
mm,
we get numbers that are tyrannical and enslaving. Now numbers have become a point of enslavement. I got
yes.
a notice in the mail yesterday saying my license was about to be suspended. I had no idea because of a fucking toll charge that we didn't even think about. Like, I just got numbers. They're just always numbers. Numbers now to us represent debt and enslavement, birth certificates, falsity, legal documents. It's all numbers, a hijacked version. But this realm, in its natural sense, operates through a season, a system. And there is, like, as you said, it's energetic and it's frequency based. So when you are born, and then this brings in the choice to being born in that way, because then you would take up you would have a Chinese sign, you would have an astrological sign, you would have a moon sign, a sun sign, you would have a deep understanding of the sort of lifetime. I mean, imagine if we got taught, right now we're down to bare basics. We get our date of birth, that's what we get. We get our star sign, our date of birth. That's sort of like the numbers we get, but the intricate nature of how numbers like can actually really bring you into a deep understanding of who you are when and how those influence have and will shape and affect, how your life unfolds. That to me feels much more in alignment with what the hijack version is, which is, personal development, manifestation, positive thinking. So
Mm,
I mean, like even like the most obvious things like the moon phases. People use that, have always used that to, when do I plant things?
Yeah. Yep.
When do I do things in a harmony with the seasons and in nature, like that's just something that has been in operation forever. The stars never changed. They just move around. So we've got this
Round and round
very
they go.
strong, yeah, round and round they go. So I mean, like, the
Yeah.
numbers things are a really interesting thing, they really, the concept that it's a state of being versus
Yeah,
an
well,
equation or a measurement versus a measurement. It's a season versus a measurement. Like they've taken the
the
life and heart
ruler.
out of numbers and made
Yeah.
it measurements.
Yeah. Yeah. And accounting, right?
Yep.
Um,
Yes.
where like, vortex math is a good one to look up, look into for anyone watching. And it basically starts off on the basis that everything is doubling, right? It's two, four, six. That's what happens to cells, right? When they grow, they keep everything's doubling. In nature, it's doubling, doubling. It's not this one, two, three sequential kind of thing, right? And with our numbers, we can work out like 3.14, right? Pi. That's the way that all trees grow, so that their leaves don't block each other out of
Yeah.
sunlight.
Nature has numbers.
Yeah, so nature has numbers. It's everywhere through
Yeah.
there, right? But again, it's us just interpreting that energy, right? It's not a numbered program in the background running binary code or anything like that. But yeah, that this is why they mess with our numbers. They teach us the wrong maths, and look what they've done to our calendars, right? They've got us in 12 months.
They've
Nothing
enslaved
matches
us.
that. Nothing
Yeah.
matches nature. So
Yeah.
that's another big one there. How they've disconnected us from nature, from source. And again, why would
Yep.
they be doing this if there was
Yep.
no power in nature? Why
Yep.
would they
I
be
think you're
trying
right.
on so hard on every level, everything? It's everything to disconnect us from nature and understanding how nature works. It's clearly because there's something they fear there, like us becoming powerful, right?
So yeah, I mean, like, when you looked at sort of like read the Journey of Souls book, where he hypnotized so many people, and
Mm,
they took him through the same story of what happens between lives. And one of the messages in that book, which I think is quite reiterated across many different books, is that we have a choice of three bodies to enter, three experiences, and we make a choice based on what's going to provide us with the growth that we're after. It's a nice idea. Like, but if you look at it more, kind of maybe more like through the nature of numbers, I want to find another word for numbers, but if we're talking about the artificial system, this would be the natural system. So through the natural system, the three choices you would have will be governed by when you take birth on this realm. The difference between taking birth on the 8th versus the 9th, or on the 25th versus the 11th, or in 1975 versus 1977, all changes the outcome and personality of the being. And if you understood
mm,
that from the get-go, you would basically be living an extremely powerful, highly abundant reality. So that knowledge has been totally taken. So I know this year for me, right? I'm a fire snake. So I know this year for me that because we're coming into a horse year, but this year has been the year of the snake, which is a good year for me to push through new ideas, right? But in a horse year, horses are all about flow and movement forward, and they rush forward, which can be a little bit disconcerting to a snake energy who's, a little bit more like calculated and strategic in their moves. But it's not a terrible year. But if it was a pig year this year, that's my enemy. That's my enemy sign.
the
So
horse,
for
yeah, yeah. Horses are scared of snakes,
no,
and
no, no. So for me, for a snake, my opposite animal in the Chinese zodiac is a pig. So
oh,
if it was a pig year, that is not a good year for me to do shit. That's a good
yes,
year for me to be low key, just be in the background. So when that year comes up, TA will just be, we'll be established gently and nicely in the background. We won't make any big decisions. So, I
mm,
mean, like, this is just one, grotesque version of what we're talking about here. But if we look at water being the nature of our reality, then we could look at numbers being the substance of the natural world, you know, the season of it, the feeling of it. And so like and that has been hijacked so dramatically. So I mean, it's just an interesting topic off the back of the simulation
mm.
overlay. Because when we think of simulation, the only image anyone has in their head is 1001. It's binary code, right?
I was going to say that before, and zero and zero is it's not a number, right? That's it's just the 0 point, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then they add the zero to trick us, but it's really just again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Yeah.
9, and it's just that repeating. Yeah, so yeah, maths they've done a number on us, man.
They've done a number on us. That's funny. I mean, if you that's why the Bible is such a successful book because people study the numbers in the Bible,
Yeah, the Bible
right?
code and all that.
And
The yeah,
yes, and the Hebrew mysticisms and the
the Kabbalah.
Kabbalah, this is all like, yeah, this is all those Abrahamic books in my head represent the hijacking of the nature of numbers
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Well, we can
because
see
they
they use them, right? Every time there's an event, or a flag that's not real, like people do their digging and all these numbers start popping out, right? And I
yeah.
mean, obviously 33 is a big one. And this is another thing they do now, heaps of researchers, whatever you want to call us, think these numbers are evil, right? Because they see them everywhere. I mean, that's another program because 33 is ascension. You got 33 vertebrae, right? That the chrysamoid or the kundalini has to climb to reach the temple and your third eye. So there's definitely more than one way to interpret all this stuff. And
And if they've hijacked the numbers, Cam, then they can hijack reality. Because if they hijack the numbers, they can make those numbers speak before flesh will experience them, before we will experience them. They can do that if they hijack the natural way of nature, the numbers in nature. That's all gets hijacked. It can alter so that's like, I'm going to add that to simulation theory, that it's a hijacking of numbers,
mm,
again, nature's natural system.
mm,
And if you realized your personal numbers and started to look at, I'm interested in this right now. I mean, I'm actually considering doing like an actual deep dive, like really doing maybe a course on numerology. I'm very curious because there's something about that I feel like is lost ancient wisdom. I feel like it's lost
totally,
Gnostic wisdom, and I feel like it really would ground you and connect you back into your natural powers, natural charge on this realm. That you are
totally.
in flow with the seasons of your natural flow. If you understood your numbers, your innate numbers, not the hijacking numbers, not the numbers of your debt or birth certificates or death certificate or all those numbers and binary code numbers that no one can ever understand, or the numbers they use in quantum physics and physics and maths that no one can get their heads around. Like all of those numbers to me seem like
It,
hijacked
it's it's
fiction.
it's bullshit. The truth is simple, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So according to a body of work that's been governed by a hijacking of nature's numbers, you could like really predict and put into reality a false outcome, a
Mm,
false prophecy, a false omens. But it's interesting with the numbers that have come out of books like the Kabbalah, is that it's actually developed AI technology like CERN has come out of numbers from one of these books.
yeah.
So those numbers are, that's maybe the nature of the invasion numbers, the nature of the parasite, that's the parasitic numbers, the
Mm.
machine numbers, the enslavement numbers.
The invert, yeah, they've just found out what numbers they can use for their gain and our detriment. But it also kind of shows us that they don't see the world the way that they're telling us to see it. They don't see it all as physical because they're into numerology and astrology, which all that stuff only works if everything's energy, right? Not physical.
Yeah.
So that's just another big scam. But yeah, I definitely think that they use it in, and what is a ritual? I'm sure that most of it is wrapped around stuff like this, right? It's not them, crushing up chicken bones and saying some weird foreign word. I'm sure it's much more based on things like geometry and numerology and astrology and things like this, which of
Nature's
course they don't
numbers.
teach us, right?
Nature's
And we
numbers.
see this all through the old world everywhere, right? All the buildings are built off sacred geometry. It's all, sacred cubit measurements and all this kind of stuff. So they knew it, and that's probably been kept in secret societies that we're not allowed into anymore to hold their information. But it's definitely part of the inversion, right? The inversion. It's just another thing they've messed with.
What's your date of birth?
1308.
Ooh, he's a 13.
Yes, I'm a 13.
Come on,
I'm
spit it out.
seven, 72.
1970?
72. 70?
1972.
God, I'm offended at that. I'm
1970.
so offended.
All right. Do you know what you are? Do you know what your numbers
I'm
are?
a rat in China, Chinese. I'm a number 4. That's about all I
Indeed.
know. And I'm awesome.
So you're a rat.
I'm a rat. I'm
That is
wise like a
excellent.
rat, like Splinter from
So
the
this is
turtles.
your worst year, Campbell. The year of the horse is your enemy year. Good job, I'm here.
Man, I've been telling everyone it's going to be an awesome year, and here you
Well, it
come
is going to
along,
be an awesome year, but
prick my balloon.
it just means that, like, knowing where you sit with this sort of nature's numbers, you can start to like make choices that are in accordance to the flow of that season for you. So it's not about what do I want to do right now. The question is like, is this the right season for me to do this? If I want to guarantee the easiest flow, the best result, the least like conflict. I mean, it's just so interesting to me that there's a whole body of work there that, I don't know much about, but it
Yeah,
seems to be the real understanding that, oh, what's the language? I'm struggling to find the word for it. I mean, I don't want to keep, all right, we're just going to call it nature's
it's
numbers,
it's
but
like yeah, it's kind of like
it's,
the
there's,
blueprint kind of, right? Like the
yeah,
underlying blueprint that tells you how everything works, and if you understand it, it's like the blueprint. If you understand the blueprint, you can build whatever the blueprint's telling you to, right?
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, for the audience, I mean, it'd be fun. I think it might be like
Yeah,
interesting for us
I'm
to
into
like
it.
start to explore this side of numbers because classically I've stayed way away from numbers because it's
Wow,
always
we've all got maths trauma.
enslaving us. Yeah,
Yes.
we're being enslaved by it. There's always some fucking number haunting us in our mailbox. A new number arrives to take money from us in some capacity.
Oh my
It's so
God,
annoying.
checking my bank and I haven't got enough numbers in there.
You're a water rat, my friend.
I'm a water rat. So
You're a
I
water
definitely am
rat.
Splinter, right? The
So
wise rat
you're
that lives in
like
the sewer.
you're intelligent. Rats are very intelligent. Actually, yeah, monkeys and rats. Survival instincts, adaptability, strategic thinking, and opportunity sensing. Water is intuition, emotional intelligence, flow, depth, subtle perception. So, you're strategically very adaptable.
There you go. And
I'll never
wise. You
say
said wise, right? And intelligent. I think you said that as well. Good looking,
all those
awesome.
things. All of those things. All right. So, I mean, I just brought that up as a side note, right? So,
Yeah,
a water
it's
rat.
interesting. I mean, it's
Yeah.
good that we went ahead before we read that and booked 6 live shows, 6 newspapers, a few other bits and pieces, shoving as much as we can in there. And then you
Well,
tell
for
me
you,
it's not a good year to do things.
for you though, for this year, this is a high risk, and this is a very unelegant reading I'm doing right now. But you could get so much more information. It's a high risk, high adaptation year for you, so it's not inherently bad. It just means you need to be strategic, which is why you've got this excellent person inside you being strategic all the time.
Strategizer.
So yeah, I mean you've got to be strategic this year and you've got to be disciplined in that strategy. You've got to like that's how you're going to survive easily.
All
Yeah,
right.
so for a horse year, it loosens all the systems for everyone. It's speedy and quick and it marches ahead. So you as a rat, you need to be hyper vigilant, over
Diligent.
planning,
Oh,
and you could get some
jeez.
nervous energy going in that you're not normally used to.
Whoa.
And your income might be volatile and your expenses might increase and
I'm just
you
getting my
might
shit together too. Bloody hell, universe.
so it's not a risk year for you. Mm.
Ah, all right.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, look, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all I'm saying is that there is a whole other body of work in relationship to,
Mm,
returning to nature, returning to the earth. And one thing I hadn't actually thought about was like returning to the right numbers, returning to
mm,
the right idea of how numbers are seasons and numbers are systems that are natural and numbers, govern our life paths in ways that we totally don't adhere to, totally end up in the shit all the time, totally get depressed because, 2 years ago I did an amazing job manifesting, and then this year I've done really shit at it. What's happened to me? I'm messed up. I need to go and evolve myself. But no, you're just not in the
it's-
right season for yourself.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
And then there's heaps of smaller cycles too, right? Within that year. So there'll be good days to do things, days to not start things and stay in bed and all this kind of stuff. So, and this is, yeah, exactly. Because we should be starting jobs on certain dates and businesses.
exactly.
And, even if you want to go
Exactly.
ask someone out, that should probably be on a certain date, even probably a certain
Exactly.
time, right?
Yeah,
Because
man.
it's all energy that's continually flowing. And the more we can match up and sink into that energy, then
Yes.
the more
The
things
more
flow.
successful you will be as an
Exactly.
individual. And of
Yes.
course, we haven't been made, this hasn't been taught to us naturally. Of
No.
course, this isn't something that like is just part of our, education process. But if we were back in alignment with the natural world, wouldn't it make sense that when you're born, all of that information is presented to you, that becomes the governing process of the choices you make from birth up through your childhood, through to your adult existence, that who you innately are here to experience and be. You know what numbers are going to govern your process. Like
Mm.
a snake's very strategic, right? And a snake actually doesn't it's a snake can be quite secretive. People would see a snake as quite secretive, but in actual fact, a snake is someone who will think quietly, before they present information, before they want to talk about it. And
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense when I look at myself, and just there's so much more you and I would understand about each other's flow and processes if we knew deeply each other's, numbers, basically.
Numerology. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Right. Well,
I,
let's do a course then. Let's learn
yeah,
this stuff.
I think it's fun. I think we should do one. Maybe we should do a new container where we just call out anyone in the audience who wants to join a deeper exploration on the
Yeah.
nature of numbers
If you're an
with us.
amazing numerologist and you understand all this stuff, if you really understand it, send us an email. Let us know.
Yeah, yeah. Because like if we as a community understood this and then individually lived our lives in accordance with it, there would be much abundance and success. There would be a
It's
lot less struggle and a lot less depression and a lot less
mm,
blockages and a lot more
well,
feeling of
a lot
empowerment
less
and
confusion, right? Like, why isn't it working when it worked last week? And, because it's a big, if I'm still going, it's a massive part of it, right? But because we're not aware of it, we're like, oh, well, like you said, manifested this last year. Why is everything going to shit this year, right? We don't have that thing. And that's why manifestation is so massive, right? People pull it off randomly, right? But, it's probably, like Kelly's saying, it's got a lot much more to do with the frequencies and the energy, which is the numbers and the geometry and all this stuff. Like maybe that's it. If we just work that
hmm
out, maybe we'll
hmm
just be able to manifest whatever we want, right? Because, these people who have taken over the world have done it fairly easily, you've got to say, right? Like
yeah.
really,
Yeah.
they really
Yeah,
have.
man.
So let's
And
get
they
their
adhere to all
knowledge.
of this.
Yeah,
And
they
we
definitely
know
use this.
we have known this always that they use all of this. They use the nature of numbers, not this simulated binary code. They use the nature of numbers to make their decisions. So that information's been stolen from us. And I just think maybe it's a good time for our community individually to decide to figure that stuff out. Like, for example, as a snake, I shouldn't eat pork. Pork will make me sick. Pork is really bad for my health because the pig is my enemy sign. It's
Jeez,
like
man.
kryptonite to a snake.
No more
Like I didn't
bacon
know
for
that.
you.
No more eggs
No more
Benedict.
bacon for you.
But I didn't know that. But like if I did know that or go forward to know all these things, gosh,
Right.
you can see how it would lead to a very healthy, wise, successful retirement. You can see how it will serve me going forward to know this information about
Mm.
me, having been born into this specific moment of the nature of numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because they also, the Chinese look at food differently too, don't they?
Hmm.
They look at it as what, sweet, salty, sour, and acrid, is it? So basically, they don't look at the individual sort of, fruits or vegetables or whatever's. They look at, I guess, the result of what eating them
Yeah,
is, and they put that to body types. And
yeah,
so, so yeah, it just goes everywhere. So the whole I'm a rat. Does that mean I should be able to work out kind of what diet I'm eating?
yeah,
Never looked into
definitely,
that. Like,
definitely, definitely,
what do
everything,
rats
everything.
eat?
Yes,
Rats eat
that's
everything. I'm
well, I
gonna
mean,
start
it's
gnawing on the bed.
no, I reckon there is definitely things rats definitely shouldn't eat for sure.
Mm,
And then of course you've got your like your element as part of that, like your water.
yep. I'm
Hmm.
I'm fire.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's why
So
people used to keep firing me when I had jobs.
I mean, so basically, yeah. I mean, I just simply brought this point up just because we were talking about the simulation. I asked about manifestation in my head. I'm like, why does it work and not work? And then I was looking at numerology, and then I was thinking, wow, there is actually and there is the nature of numbers on this realm, and we've been kept very far away from it. Only a few people
Mm,
have gone into it, and probably more people than ever in the truth community, sort of in that space, like the healing modalities. But I reckon 2026 would be a very good time for us as a community to like maybe individually put some time into knowing our numbers and then
well,
seeing,
it is a one
mm,
year. We were all
yeah,
saying like we were all
mm,
talking numbers, right? Oh, it's
mm-hmm,
the 9 years completion. Oh, now
mm-hmm.
it's a 1 year. Like, do we? I don't even know what that means really, but it sounded cool when I was saying it. But
I
we've got to
mean,
learn it,
people
right?
once people understand their numbers, they take it far. Like there's people who won't even wear like brands that are made in their enemy year, or will only choose to wear things that have been founded in their power year, or will choose only destinations that are supportive of their snake versus their pig
Yeah, well, then
location.
you get into the
Like
whole gematria, right? Every
exactly.
word equals a number. Yeah,
Hmm.
right.
And then there's like if you do your whole name, you can get your life path. But you can also take out the vowels of your name, and that'll give you a soul path.
Oh,
I mean, I just think that this is quite a fascinating topic, and I'm quite interested in exploring it. And I think maybe we will, if we've got time, launch another little container, just maybe once a week, maybe, or once. I'm sure there's lots of people in our community who know so much about it already. Us.
mm,
So if there is some, yeah, so put a thing in the comments if that's you.
yeah. Or if you
And
know of any good courses or anything,
yeah,
especially if you're a
all right.
Mullaney and just happen to be teaching a numerology introduction course in the next 2 weeks, let us know.
I mean, I just think I think there's something in here. And I think that we should re-empower and re-understand our own numbers and how that influences our own level of feeling of empowerment, success, and abundance through these really chaotic years where the system has hijacked the numbers and we're being enslaved by their numbers. So it's like a counteractive push, right?
Yeah, and it's true, and it's like it's going back to nature and learning about nature and learning about how things actually work and working with it and getting in the flow rather than putting more of our attention in the 2D world, right? Which is not, it doesn't have good effects, right? It's full of radiation, it's full of stress and fear and all this kind of stuff, apart from this show, of course. Um, you know, like it's the same thing, right? Leaving the overlay, the simulation for nature and
Yeah,
understanding the world that is our world, because this simulation, that's not our world. It's foreign, it's
yeah,
alien
it's
to
not.
us, right? We need to understand and learn our true world, nature.
And I guess if you understand the true nature of yourself, then you're going to end up being healthier. You're going to end up being happier. You're going to end up being wiser. You're going to end up coming across to people as quite intuitive of your and quite lucky and quite powerful in your manifestation and always sort of making the right choice for yourself and always naturally avoiding the things that aren't in alignment with your energy and just doing and making it part of your life and integrating it as part. I mean, that's a good thing to do in 2026, starting this year. Is it
Yeah,
not?
And it teaches how connected we are to nature, right? To everything, because it all runs off the same, it's all the same, right? You're literally looking at yourself and then looking at nature and how can I interact best, with it. And then, you'll start to understand you are nature.
Yeah.
And try doing that with a computer, right? I mean, some people try and interact with AI, but there's nothing in common here, right? Like we can't sit there and go, oh, look, it's 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 today. I wonder what that means.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Because the enemy number of 0 0 1 0 0 1 1 0 is human. It's like basically, actually,
Mm,
I disturbingly, I've told the story of my bipolar bestie back in the day with the super soldier story. And, when she got manic the last time, she was repeating over and over again
that's right.
from the Asta command 0 0 1 0 1 1 0 0 1 all over for like weeks. And it's always stuck with me as like this such a negative experience in my life. And then I was on something random last night, and there's all these people all around the world forming groups just chanting that number. And
That
I'm like,
same
ooh,
number
yes. I'm like, ooh, like binary code, like chanting it, like they're possessed by it as a
possessed by
group, like a
AI.
meditation group.
Jeez, that's
It was
oh my
weird.
God,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
weird. It's weird. It's
that's
weird.
freaky weird.
Yeah, really freaky weird.
Oh, come on. Let us finish, internet.
Hello.
Sorry. We didn't
Did I
mean
just
to offend
freeze?
you, 0 1 0 1 0 0 1 0 0.
I was just going to say, do you have anything else you'd like to add to that topic?
No, no, I think that's a good topic. It's something I've thought about a lot, and obviously sacred geometry and cymatics and all this sort of ties into that. And I think it would be a good new skill to learn in this year for sure. And I totally agree that it's uh probably at least one of the keys to learning how to manifest properly because we're
In
just out of
your
sync.
life,
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
so out of sync.
And I think this is the other thing I was going to mention about manifesting is it's got to be done from within. We've got to understand ourselves, right? Because we're using our energy, and
Yeah,
again, that they get our focus in manifesting on the outside world. You want a
yeah,
new car, you want more cash, you want a bigger house, you want a cool suit, right? Instead of manifesting who we want to become. And if you do that, the changing yourself, then you'll change what reality you walk into basically, right? And that is, I think, where the manifestation comes. So it's definitely an inner game, right? It's not a trying to change the blocks around you, right? Move
yeah.
things
I mean,
around.
we're out of sync with ourselves is an excellent thing to say. We are out of sync with that. How could we not be?
We're tuned into the
In
wrong
this all
station,
of this
man.
programming all by
Mm,
design. Yeah, we're out of sync with ourselves, we're out of sync with our own seasons, we're out of sync with the right time to do things, we're out of sync with all of that, and our attention gets put onto a collective whole. So we've all been made to be out of sync with our own seasons individually, and then we're like put in a system that has one season. Like the apocalypse is coming, the end of days is coming, the reset's coming, there's one season here. And like the politics and the culture, it just sort of like it sort of forms this like massive wet dark blanket overlay that's determining the outcome for the whole world.
mm,
That's the they we lose perspective. Like Trump is determining the future of all reality, but actually it's not possible because we have all our own seasons. We all our own individual seasons that determine our experience of individual realities.
mm,
So again, with the AI, how we've been taught that it's taking over the world, it's going to take over all the jobs, but actually it can only take over the cities, and it's only there in that system. Nature's fine over here, and that's 90% of the earth. Like it's you got to keep it back into perspective. So
yeah.
yes, Trump has a season, Trump has his numbers,
He's got
politics
his
has a season.
numbers.
They all do it,
And this
but
is
they're not your
the loose
number.
collecting, right? Like they'll put out like he's taking over Greenland. That'll be done on a certain date,
Mhm.
all to numerology in that. And then what happens? Half the world put their attention on it and get emotionally involved. Half of them are like, "Oh my God, he's destroying the world. How dare he do this?" And the other half are, "Yay, Trump is the savior of," it's all this emotional energy then gets funneled at him and makes his ideas more powerful, right? And things flow for him. So,
Mhm.
you know,
Hmm. And then they
attention
back
is a
it all
big
up. They
thing.
back that agenda. They
Yeah,
back that agenda up with more numbers
yeah,
that back that agenda up. And actually, so much of the deception of this realm, like the birth certificate, the births and the deaths, all the population, all those numbers that we're given, all the statistics that we're given, all those time, their time is false. That's, we they can, it's 2 seconds or 2 minutes off the iPhones and the Androids while we're sleeping, over a course of a year, we lose like a week or something ridiculous. That's not, I'm being general there. I can't remember the actual mass on it, but we lose a lot of
mm,
time just by them taking time out of our digital devices. So time in itself is another number system hijack. So wherever you look,
totally.
they will use the numbers to broadcast one season onto the world. And by doing that and governing our life on one season onto the world, then 99.9% of people are going to have a bad time.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like when when I was younger and you study history, and I remember just thinking at one point, hang on, they're only telling me about this tiny little part of the world, and that's the entire story. What was
Yep.
going on in the Americas? What was going on in Africa? What was going on in all these other places? I don't, and so and that's exactly what they do with the news, right?
And
There's
it's got a
only
timeline, Campbell, a
timeline, yeah.
timeline.
There's only one thing happening here and you need to
Yep.
focus on it. There's nothing happening in the rest of the world at all, and it's
Yep.
definitely not good. So don't look there. It's just this. It's such a show and such a game.
Yeah, and we know when we go traveling, you enter these different cultures on these different lands that are completely out of time compared to
Yep.
our time. Their season's completely, and I don't mean like actual weather season,
Yeah,
but the
yeah,
season of that culture is operating from a whole different vibe. You can tell it's palatable, it's tangible. So
totally.
timelines have been hijacked
Yep.
and forever has been that way. Because if you're relying on time that's been handed to you, given to you externally from yourself, then it's false time.
Yep.
Because you were born at a certain time. That's your time. That's your timeline. That's the season you should be governing yourself by.
Yeah. Your time
That
has
is your
come.
true time.
Mm,
And you should be operating all of your decisions using your inner time, your inner time.
mm.
I mean, it's just a whole different way of viewing reality.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, totally. That's your frequency, and the more you can line up with like frequencies as you go along, the much easier it is, right? I think it's a big one.
That's just another side note to why the simulation theory represents the hijacked numbers on quantum computer maths and algorithms that are so beyond your understanding because they're false numbers. You can't work with them. They're
Mm.
a simulation. They're
Yeah,
artificial. They're
yeah,
parasitic. They lead you in a terrible direction. They
yeah,
literally
yeah,
always lead you into a terrible direction.
yeah, yeah. They're just numbers. It's just money. It's just interest. It's just tax. It's just fines. It's just your pay slip, right? It's all lineal crap that is bad for you, basically, right? Like most people don't see numbers that they're happy about very often.
No, no, yeah. All
So
right.
there you go.
Well, that's
That's it.
something.
We're gonna
I
crack
don't
the code.
I can
I
I
think
don't
we did a
know.
show. I think that's good.
We
We didn't
just
know
did a
what we were
show.
going to talk about, but there you go, guys.
I mean, look, we may not have presented that very elegantly. We've literally never spoken about it
Probably didn't.
together before. We haven't even pre-conversed this one. It is fascinating, and I can see how it really does also give you a clear distinction between the nature of numbers and the hijacking of numbers. The
Mm,
nature of numbers that support life and the hijacking of numbers that take you to doomsday, that take you to a pointless, hopeless, soulless direction. You can see that, right? So, whether or not there's going to be some big, bad seasonal doomsday event over there in the false timeline, will it impact those who are, operating from the nature of their own numbers? I don't think so. I don't think so. I just don't think so. Whatever's going to play out, if anything plays out, it's going to be within the system.
Mm,
It'll be within their system.
mm.
So you got to be in their system to be affected by it.
Totally, man. In their system that starts somewhere and ends somewhere, right? Because it's linear. It's not actually got anything to do with nature, which is spirals, right? Just expansion. So yeah, that's the only place it exists, and only then, even if only if you believe it, right? So let's get out and discover that the nature of numbers, or the numbers of nature, maybe the
Yeah,
numbers
yeah, the
of
nature of
nature.
numbers. Yeah. The nonsense, the nature of nonsense, the nature of numbers. They're in the same vibe. I
Yeah,
mean, even
yeah,
this internet right now, this show, it's all 0011000. That's what it is. It's like our information translated to zeros and ones up there into the ether so that you can watch it. But like, holy mother of God, the difference between doing a show here and like doing a show on land and synergizing a community in the physical flesh is like incomparable.
yeah,
Incomparable. And if we only wanted to stay here, we'd be in the system
totally
using their numbers,
using their numbers.
being fined by
You,
their numbers and
you,
paying their numbers and paying to do it,
yeah,
paying the cost
your numbers
of the
up,
false number grid.
false
Yep.
number
Mm-hmm.
grid. All right,
All right. Well,
and
I'm
also,
excited, Cam.
yes,
Mm.
let's jump into it and get excited, guys, because we are going to Rockhampton.
Yes. All right. Rocky,
28th
Rocky,
of Feb.
Rocky.
Rocky, Rocky, Rocky. 28th of Feb. All details, and you can get your tickets on tartaria.australia.com. Go check it out. We'll leave the link
Have you
below.
found a venue, Campbell?
I have found a venue. I've found a couple. We've just got to decide which one we want. We've had a talk about it, and just for a change, we thought we'd do something completely different this time, which we tend to do all the time. So, new show. If you've been before, this will be something different. New concept that we're trialing out. We'll see what happens. But it'll definitely be, worth your while.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just about the gathering, right? It's always going to be about the
It's
gathering.
always about the
Yes, we will
gathering.
entertain you. Yes, there'll be a fun, you know, Kelly Campbell like show, but but it's all just about coming together. And our mission this year is to go and connect the Stock group. I had this random thought in was like, I wonder if, like around September, what would happen if we hand delivered the newspaper to every one of our American subscribers? Like, imagine if
It's
we went to America and
American? What are you
actually,
talking about? Like a
yeah,
tour of
I know.
America?
Well, the tour would just be like delivering the newspaper. Isn't that a random idea? I haven't thought about it. I just am sharing that thought came to my
Uh,
mind,
yes, it
which
may
could
take a
be,
while.
it would take it
America,
maybe a couple of weeks, but wouldn't that be
America's
a
fairly
curious
large.
experience? It is very large, but we would meet a lot of our community. We would meet a lot of people, and I love that concept. What if we did it with New Zealand? What if we
The
made
Great
these
Letterbox
missions?
Tour.
Yeah, to hand deliver this newspaper. And because my whole thing is to meet everyone.
And
I
we
want to
could
see your
find like
eyes, baby. I want to
we
connect. I
could
want to
find that
hug.
country where there's only one subscriber in the whole country. We could go and
India.
deliver it. India. Oh my
We
God.
have
It's
one
got to be
subscriber in
India, doesn't
India,
it?
man. Good on you. Good on you, buddy. You're the champion of India.
Yeah, we could do that. Go and deliver one letter.
I just love that idea. Anyway, the whole point of all of this is
I
just to
mean,
meet
that'd
everyone. Obviously,
be a good
we do.
documentary.
It's cool, isn't it? That is a cool
Yeah.
documentary. I mean, obviously we do our live events in Australia to meet the crew here, like we're always doing these live events. But in the other countries is, could be an interesting concept to chew on.
There you
So
go.
yes, Rockhampton at the end of the month, tickets on sale on the website. We're coming, whatever. If there's 5 people or 500, we're coming. Yeah, well, I'm very excited to come to Rockhampton, come what may. Don't care about if we sell out or not. I'm very excited to meet whoever's coming.
Yes.
And Rockhampton's a very curious and interesting place. It was fun last time we did there. So call out to the Rocky crew who we worked with in the first gig. Hope you're all like on board. We'd love to hang out and see you guys again. And
Yep.
of course, I'm almost concluding the third edition of the newspaper, Cam. So we'll be sending that to the printers on Monday. And it's a very special edition, this edition, very special
Yes. How is it
edition.
special? Well, you're going to have to subscribe to find out. This
Yeah, it's
only
a good
goes to
one.
your
And
mailbox. It's not online. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, what are you doing?
Mm.
tartariaustralia.com. Get there,
Mhm.
subscribe, and get into it.
I think
Oh,
we're going to have to do the numerology on that newspaper. We have to decide when we founded it, when it was first, the day it was printed originally. We should do its numerology. That'll be an interesting one on that creation. Either way, it's out, third edition. Yes, and you're going to love this one. I think it's very special. It's got a golden touch.
the golden touch, yes. Gosh, I almost freaked out. Thought you were going to give it away.
Never, never. All right, everyone. Well, enjoy that random show. Nice and gentle compared to last week's, I guess.
Yes, yes. We hope hope
Be
we
back
didn't
up
trigger
to
you.
you'll be back up to 100% likability, Campbell, because
I
we weren't
know, right?
contentious at all.
Leave us your comments, even if you don't like us. Let us know.
All
Voice
right,
your opinion.
everyone. Lots of love. We'll see you next week on Tartaria, Australia.
Yes,
And
check out.
your magazine will be in the mail. And Cam, I've got confirmation from everywhere that we've posted it that it has arrived. It's gone across the realm. It's hit every nation that's subscribed, and we've got a lot of different countries. So fuck yes, it made it. We have succeeded.
We've done it. The mail got through. Woo! All
All
right,
right.
guys. All right,
All right.
we'll see
Lots
you
of
next
love.
week
See you
and in
next week.
Rockhampton. All right. See
Yes,
ya.
in Rockhampton. See you guys.